So, Maul Shadow Lord Season 1, Episode 1 and 2 have released. And oh boy, I enjoyed them. So I'm going to talk about them. So, the season starts with Maul's gang performing a raid against a bank, which we later find out belongs to a crime lord, whose name I have forgotten. And then Maul, then we get the clip from the first trailer, or not first trailer, the first teaser clip released, where they get chased down by the cops, and then Maul reveals himself cutting them down. And I gotta say, Maul is so brutal in this show. They actually let him murder people, which I was not fully expecting. I was hoping for it. Like, Maul just deflects blast bolts at the cops here, and then he jumps at one of them, cutting him down. Later on in the police station, he carves up the cops as well. He's clearly shown to be about to cut off the head of this other gangster in there as well. And then when he goes and attacks the pikes, he just carves through the pikes and then force chokes and splits one in half. And this is the protagonist of the show. Yes, villain protagonist Maul. That reminds me so much of Lawless and the entire Maul's lore arc. And it's so good. So other than that, though, so we've got them. The major plot in the first episode is two gangsters setting up the meeting, and Maul basically tricking them and forcing them into fighting each other, despite the fact that they're really both on the same side, just trying to survive against Maul, and they don't believe he's back, because why would he be? But the small ones, he's realized that, Maul might actually be back, but the big one goes, nah, there's no way Maul's back, you're just trying to trick me. And well, then the big one gets shot in the back, and the small one gets captured by Maul eventually, by some cops. And there's a small little action scene with them as well, that was very cool, and just there's a bit of a fear of Maul being presented in that scene, which I really like. I almost wish that Maul had not been revealed yet in the show. Like, we had the first, honestly, almost the entire first episode, I feel like they could have done without having Maul actually appear in the episode at all. And then, honestly, even like most way through episode 2, like, you don't show Maul. You show the Mandalorian, you show the Night Brothers, so we all know Maul's around here. But then, when he finally reveals himself in the prison scene, as he just starts carving his way through the cops, I feel like that would have almost been a much more impactful opening. Like, so you have the two gangsters going, it could be Maul. We don't know. Like, is there Maul? Like, we're building up the fear of Maul before we've actually revealed Maul. Whereas by that scene, Maul's already had several dialogue scenes. I don't know, I still think it's great. And I do like how they've handled Maul. But, yeah, I don't know, I feel like build up the fear of Maul before then Maul comes in with a punch and starts slaughtering would be cool. Anyways, so yeah, Maul then breaks into a prison cell to capture the surviving crime lord, and because Maul's afraid that he's going to tell the cops about Maul and the Shadow Collective. And well, he does mention the Shadow Collective. The police captain does not recognize the name, the Shadow Collective. So he'll go on to find out more about the Shadow Collective from, I'm assuming that she was a third crime lord person on the planet, though it was never really explicitly said, that someone who chose not to join up with Maul, which turned out to be a really good decision, because Maul's not pissed at someone who just says no to him. He only wants revenge against those who turn against him. Mainly the Pikes right now, because Maul had set up the Pikes to be a powerful interest in the galaxy in the Empire world, and then they turned on him and presumably used what he'd set up for them for their own gains and not for his. So he is coming to get them. And that is why he's hunting down the Pikes, and the Pike leaders, whose name is apparently Krim, which when they first mentioned Crim, I thought they were talking about Crimson Dawn, just shortening it. But no, apparently the Pike leader's name is Crim. I don't know why, that's just... I feel like they could have picked a different name. I don't know if a Pike named Crim is someone who pre-existed. I don't remember Crim ever being mentioned before, but yeah. Especially given, Maul is connected with the Crimson Dawn. We've seen him talking about Crimson Dawn in the final episode of the Martez Sisters arc in Clone Wars, and we see Dryden Voss in the Siege of Mandalore. Maul's dismissing him. We also see... Well, obviously he's connected with Crimson Dawn because he appears at the end of Solo. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have picked a better name. That's whatever, though. What else? Oh, yeah, Devon, or Devon, I don't know what her name is. The young Twi'lek Jedi who Maul is trying to corrupt to his side. She started out a lot more dark side than I was expecting in the show. Because she's already, before she's met Maul, even stealing food and just being a stuck-up brat to the police. So she's clearly not the best of Jedi. I mean, she wouldn't be if Maul was going to try and turn her, but Maul's sensing her and wants to go after her, and that's partly why he came to this planet. It's all interesting. I want to see where it's going. I don't know where it's going, of course. But obviously she's going to be turned to his side to some degree. How exactly he's going to do that, I'm not sure. Then when Maul frees her from the prison, she recognizes him as Maul, which is really interesting to me. Because why would she know who Maul is? It's established that the captain here does not recognize Maul at all. Which, okay, fair enough. Maul was working with Shadows, but why does she know? I don't feel like Maul's return would have been public knowledge, even amongst the Jedi. And the higher-ups of the Jedi obviously knew, like the Jedi Council, but she was just a Padawan. Why would she have been told about Maul? Which implies to me more that she knows about Maul from the stories of the criminals on this planet, not from her time as a Jedi during the Clone Wars. Which is interesting if true, and I don't know if they're going to really explain why she already knew who Maul was, but I am interested in that. And also, so anyways, when Maul frees her, well, quote-unquote frees her, because he then recaptures her as his own prisoner, her master then flips the truck they're escaping in, and they land, and then they hop out, and then she tries to run back to her master, but gets captured, and then her master chooses to save the civilians who are injured, being injured-ish by Maul, rather than save her. And I was fully expecting Maul to have brought that up as a reason why she should abandon the Jedi, and maybe he will later, but it just hasn't happened yet, which I was expecting. I dare say it will happen later. Maul is very clearly trying to turn her and bring her into her anger, make her realize that she can take control of the situation, which is very much a Sith thing to think. Is take control. You can break yourself out of here. That mindset is fairly Sith-like. It's you have the power to do this. Go out and take it. I master the Force and the Force serves me. That mantra that Maul's repeating in one of the trailers is just... it's all that sort of idea. And, of course, Maul is not lying to her here. She could escape whenever she wanted by just using the Force to move the gate out. I was fully expecting him to mean, she could use the Force to unlatch the lock. And, well, we haven't seen what Maul will do once she does escape. But, because that's happened at the very end of the second episode. But I fully expect that her escape was 100% part of his plan, and she has somehow not realized that, despite the fact he made it pretty damn obvious. What else is there? Yeah, the police captain. I mean, there's not really much to say about him. He's a fairly generic police captain man. He's doesn't want the Empire to show up, clearly, as he doesn't want to alert the ISB, despite what his droid sergeant Two Boots says. But nope, he's not doing that. And well, once the ISB does get involved, and they almost certainly will, because they have searched up who's this guy? Oh, he's got super security on him? Yeah, there's no way they're going to be scanning for anyone looking for him. No. Yeah, I fully expected his decision not to call on the ISB is going to backfire in his face at some point. As they go, hey, we know you looked up Maul. Why did you do that? Oh, look, there's a Maul here. And you didn't tell us about him. And you looked him up. That's suspicious, Mr. Lawson, sorry. Yeah, why is his name Lawson? It's a bit too on the nose, I feel. I don't know. Yeah, he also has a son and an estranged wife, or maybe estranged ex-wife, who's gone, and he doesn't have enough time to deal with them properly, which, yeah, I dare say that's going to go somewhere. It's not really much of anything right now. Yeah, and I think that covers most of it, except for one little thing. The best character of the show, I will take no alternatives, which is, of course, Maul's pet probe droid. I love that probe droid, the way he's just hacking into the computers all gleefully. He's just so happy doing damage and causing havoc. And then when Maul pets him at the end of the first episode, he purrs because he's a cat. I love this probe droid, and if anything bad happens to it, oh, I'm going to be so annoyed. I love that probe droid. Yes. And that is, I think, everything I really want to talk about for Shadow Lords Season 1, Episode 1 and 2. I'm probably going to end up doing weekly episode videos on Shadow Lord, and then maybe one big wrap-up one at the end. I'm not sure. Haven't really planned it out that much. But yes, so far, it is very good.